Alright guys, time to keep my channel active fragrance wise. I got asked to make this video and I've already made this video, but I think I made a video like about this a couple years ago, but I'll make the same video again, kind of, basically again. People want to know what are like the best compliments I've ever gotten in fragrances and like what are the worst. So I'll do like a best and worst reactions to fragrances ever, and I'll just look at the fragrances that I've worn before, and so I'm not going to be looking at the camera as usual. I'll just tell you my if anything's ever funny has happened while I've been wearing the fragrance. First fragrance I have here, looking at my Fragrantica. Dolce and Gabbana The One. Lots of compliments, you know what I mean? A lot of people like it. Can I think of any interesting compliments I've ever gotten while wearing it? I had that cliche other people talk about, like, as a girl ever licked you while wearing the fragrance before. I had that happen. It's a fragrance that a lot of times, even when I'm not wearing it, if a girl compliments me on how I smell, they thought maybe it was Dolce and Gabbana The One. Any other funny or interesting compliments? One day I was wearing it, obviously, and a girl in public, man. And this was funny because this actually happened when I was on the phone with a friend too. This girl, boy, I don't know. I said like, I don't know if you're trying to sell me or sell me something or something. Like, dude, she was so fucking, dude, she spilled her spaghetti in front of me. She's like, oh my god, you smell so good. Maybe she like was still a little bit drunk because this was actually in broad daylight too, actually, in front of other people too. She was like unbuttoning my shirt and like feeling me up, and she was just like, "You smell so good. Like, who are you?" Blah blah blah. And I was just like, "Dude, I don't know if you're trying to sell me something or," but dude, she was pretty fucking horny, and I guess my friend can attest to that because I was on the phone with him, and while that happened, I guess that was. And then she talked to my friend. It's kind of a weird story. What else do I have on here? Tobacco Vanille. I don't know if I have too many interesting stories with Tobacco Vanille. You know, is there anything interesting? I hear people like it. Like I said, most of the time the comments are like what I say about anytime I do a review about it. Lots of people like the smell, but not everyone thinks it's a necessarily a fragrance kind of smell. You know what I mean? Some people think it smells manly. Some people think it smells girly. In more recent years, I have found it's done better and better. I don't know if it's just, I guess that's luck of the draw with fragrances, right? Silver Mountain Water. I told this story before. A funny story of Silver Mountain Water is not only has Silver Mountain Water won many fragrance competitions, I guess, when you cheat and you spell things or you spray something, it's like, what do you think of this one? That's uh that's one many that I've done. The most funny compliment I ever got in Silver Mountain Water was I told the story this girl, she said something like, "You smell so good. You need to like." She says, I told it in the video. She said something like, "You smell so good. I'm getting dizzy. You need to take me somewhere to be alone so I can sit down right now," or something like that, right? She said something like that. I was just that was pretty funny. Something. I wish I remembered her exact quote. Something like, "You smell so good. I'm getting dizzy. You smell so good. Take me somewhere to be alone and like sit me down," or something like that. That was pretty funny. She was she was pretty fucking horny. That's the story about Silver Mountain Water. Let's say that. I got Dolce and Fundo here again. You would probably maybe you know what I mean. I think they're very similar. Dolce and Fundo and Montale Sweet Vanilla. Any funny stories about that? I guess I've had some girls. They were like following me around, and I had noticed them eventually. Like they said something like, we were just following you around because you smell so good," something like that. It's like, or I don't remember. I didn't write down their exact quotes. I thought that was kind of funny. There's like, "We're just following you around because you smell so good." I don't know what the fuck they said exactly, but I guess that's kind of a funny compliment. And they're following me around for a while, something like that. That was with that. Ultra Lamal. I don't think I have any funny compliments with that. What is this? Tuscan leather. Any funny compliments with that? Only thing interesting I have to say about Tuscan leather is that it's not one that necessarily does good in fragrance challenges, whatever, but I've never had a bad reaction to it in real life. Again, not that interesting. Pure Havana. Again, I barely ever get compliments on that. I hear some people supposedly do. Doesn't do well for me personally. I guess I had one person say they thought it was the best thing they've ever smelled. They said it was the best thing they ever smelt that I was wearing before, or something like that. Whatever. I don't know if that's that interesting, but another guy, it was a guy. So both times I got a compliment that's interesting. It was a guy. So does it even matter? I guess if you're gay, full homo, maybe it matters. I think I told the story. Did I tell the story? A guy gave me a compliment on it. And he's like, "Man, you smell really good. Is that Amen?" That shocked me, right? So I guess he could smell the Amen. I'm like, "No, but it's pure Havana. It's a part of it." And he's like, "Dude, I love Amen. One of the only, possibly the only person in real life that is not a sales representative that I've heard is like the original Amen." Guess Seductive. Like I said, I got so many compliments on that when I used to wear that. I got tired of wearing it. Only interesting comment on it would be a negative one. I had a girl smell it one time, and she's like, "I don't think this." She's like, "It's just okay." And I was so surprised because I had gotten so many compliments on it. I was surprised that someone didn't love it. I might sneeze. Hold on a second. Summer cold, I guess. Okay. People are like Clayton was just doing drugs in the background or something. Okay. What do I have? Back to Black. I've said this before. Just like on the internet, most people just think it smells like baby powder, even when I've gotten compliments on it. So is that interesting? Maybe it's interesting because it's the same thing as you read online. Maybe it's interesting because of that. But yeah, I've gotten compliments on it, but everyone's always just said I smell like baby powder. So Versace Heroes. Fragrances has I have gotten a lot of compliments on. I shouldn't say a lot of compliments. It's a fragrance that does very well or wins fake fragrance smelling contests. But I don't think I've ever gotten like a crazy compliment on it in real life. That's been interesting. Um, Love. I don't know if I've had any too interesting. I've had people say they like it, but nothing too interesting. Chocolate Greedy. I guess considering how novelty it potentially is, I've had girls say they like it, they don't care. You know, because I've had certain girls say they don't like a certain chocolate perfume, but they like chocolate greedy. You know what I mean? I guess it's interesting that it's kind of a novelty scent. I don't know. New Harlem. I don't think I've gotten too many interesting comments on that from wearing it. Just wanted like, smells good, but I don't know if I'd want to wear that. I guess is that interesting? I don't know. Pure Malt, a lot of compliments. Pure Malt. Do I have any interesting comments from it? Someone said I smelled like a chocolate fruit roll up. I think they said I smelled like. Is that interesting? Maybe it is. I thought that was an interesting comment. I guess a chocolate fruit roll up or something. They said. And I remember one time this girl said something like, "Wow, you smell rich. Like you just smell." God, it was so long ago. When did she say that? I remember exactly the store it happened in. I don't remember exactly. Something just like, "Man, you smell really rich" or something like that. Like you must be rich. You smell so good or something like that. I don't fucking remember. Something like that. But in general, lots of compliments on that though. A lot of compliments on that. I don't know if they're too interesting of compliments, but I've definitely got a lot of compliments on Pure Malt before. Aluminum Sport, not the regular one too much, nothing too interesting. Marcus Man, nothing too interesting. CK Shock, I've had girls say they think it smells like powder, which I think is weird. I don't get that, but whatever. No, Aventus, yeah, Aventus. Do I have any interesting compliments to that or reactions to that? Just how many compliments I've gotten in one day on it. It's kind of interesting. A shitload, dude, in one day. Lots of people asking what you're wearing. I had one day I had so many people coming up to me while I was wearing it. Someone thought I was like famous and asked like who I was. Like, "Are you famous? Like, why are so many people coming up to you?" Kind of thing. Yes, that would be an Adventist story. But other than that, nothing too interesting. Long, no. The Armtens, no. La Nuit de l'Homme. Yeah. Do I have any interesting compliments for that? You know, one time, and this is the old version. I don't know. I thought this was interesting. I just did a couple of sprays, and I went to a party, and Multiple people came up to me at the party and they're like, right when you walked into the room, it smelled so good, which I thought was kind of weird because it was a party and I only put on 2 sprays. But multiple people came up to me at the party and they're like, man, right when you walked in, it smelled so good. Is that interesting? I don't know. Lamont, uh, no crazy reactions for me in real life. Just fragrance wise, I think it's interesting that some people think that it smells potentially old or that it maybe smells like their ex-boyfriend, but I've never had a bad reaction to it in real life. It's just a good smell. People like it, but no crazy reactions. Millicent Imperial, like I said, the most interesting thing about Millicent Imperial is that I get no compliments on it. Almost never. The last time I got an unsolicited compliment on it, I just told the story. I was like, "Are you sure it's me? I don't think it's me." Because so often when I wear it, people are like, I can't even smell you. So I was shocked. That's the story about Millicent Imperial. I was like, I don't think it's me that you're smelling. No, a lot of these I'm going through now. No interesting. Straight to Heaven. I don't know if this is an interesting story. I guess I thought it was interesting, that I've had younger girls, I guess you could say, that didn't hate it and actually like it, which I thought was kind of interesting because I thought it smelled kind of older, or smells kind of older. Um, this didn't happen to me, but I was talking to a girl, some older girls, I was at like in, I think it was at Saks in fifth or something, like they're like more rich girls, right? Again, this didn't happen to me, but she was like, oh, the first time I wore Straight to Heaven, she said something like, the guy who wore it, it was like the day I knew I wanted him to marry me. It smelled so good. Something like that she said? No, I don't remember. Didn't happen to me, but I guess it made her fucking horny as fuck, that's for sure. Any of these other ones, Reflection Man, I got a bad reaction when that I said that. That story was, girl came up to me and she's like, I don't know what you're wearing, but you smell too sexy to be wearing that. You should wash it off right now. Something like that. I told that story, man. She didn't like it. And she's like, whatever you're wearing right now, wash it off because you're too sexy to be smelling like that. Whatever the fuck it was. I don't know exactly what she said. Bad comment. I've also heard people say it smells like tortilla chips, which I thought was interesting because that's something I've read people say online. So that was weird to get that in real life. Allure on Sport Extreme. I could tell you I wore that yesterday and I got an unsolicited compliment on it. So that was my last unsolicited compliment, I guess. Wasn't anything interesting though. She's like, wow, what are you wearing? You smell good, kind of thing. I don't think I've had any too crazy stories of compliments I've gotten, but I have gotten a lot of compliments on it. I should say, for the old one. The new one does not perform very well that I've seen, so you've been warned. Other ones, I see the Calvin Klein reveal. I've had a lot of compliments on that. People asking me what I'm wearing. I don't know if anything too interesting of compliments, but definitely a lot of compliments on it. Amber Absolute, like I said, the only interesting compliment I can think of that is that people think it's out there, and I've been complimented by young girls who probably don't give a fuck how expensive your perfume is, right? Um, Carolina Herrera, 212 VIP Men. I've worn that before, and people have thought that I was wearing Dolce and Gabbana The One for some reason. I don't know if that's interesting, but whatever. They liked it. CH Men, that does very well compliment wise, but I don't think I've had any interesting compliments with that one. Dolce PT, Pure Tonk, Um, gotta look through all the fragrances that I've worn. Chocolate Man. I had a girl. Maybe it was multiple girls actually. They thought it smelled like something gone bad or something like that, which is kind of weird actually, because it's very rare that you actually get like a bad reaction to a fragrance. And I had a couple of, might have been a couple, maybe it was one, maybe it was a couple girls that they didn't like it. They thought it smelled like bad chocolate or something like that, which I can see. I think it smells good, but I can see it's a very, I can see it potentially smelling like a really dark, kind of like almost like chocolate if you put it on a frying pan and you burned it. Almost, I could see it smelling like a harsh chocolate, if that makes sense. I don't think it smells bad, but I can see a negative potential aspect in it. What else do we have? You know, lots of fragrances get compliments, but are they interesting compliments? You know, Giorgio or Armani Code Profumo, I've gotten a lot of compliments on it before, but again, nothing too interesting. It hasn't done that well for me lately, though, so I'm not sure. Maybe that was just luck. Again, not that interesting to compliments. Grand Soir, I've gotten some good compliments on that, but I've also had people told the story. Someone thought it was Dior Sauvage. And they're just like, man, you can actually tell I'm not wearing pants. I got home today. The pants are off, dude. I'm relaxing, dude. Um, Someone thought it smelled like Dior Sauvage. I don't know why. I guess that's interesting to me. By the Fireplace. I've heard a lot of people like that. I can't think of any interesting stories for that one though. House of Sillage #1. Like I said, I've had quite a few girls tell me that's the best thing they've ever smelled before, actually, and I guess maybe interesting. After I saw some girls before, after I left, the guy told me they're like, yeah, they're just talking about how good you smelled after you left. I guess. Was that interesting? I guess. Um, Besides that, is there anything else to really say? Other bad stories. I told the story before. I wore Amen, and this was on me. This one was on me, dude. This is the old one too. I would assume it's been reformulated, but I don't know. But I was wearing the old one, and my brother is a stoner, and man, I swear, I woke up that night, dude, and I was like, I cannot believe my fucking stoner brother is getting stoned at 4 in the fucking morning. And I was like, Christ, man, is he making like brownies at 4 a.m., dude? I was like, what the fuck, dude? And I got up, and it was still me. It was just blasting off my skin, just insane. It was so insane. It woke me up at night after I put it on that morning, dude. The dry down isn't that bad, right? Like once it just kind of smells like, you know, chocolate, brownies, nice, whatever, dude. But the beginning is just so bad. It actually might smell better now because it's not as strong. I don't know. But any other interesting stories? You know, I said girls like chocolate greedy, but I've had girls didn't like Vanilla Absolute, like vanilla Montale's Vanilla Absolute. They thought smelled too chocolatey and was too strong. Um, God, you know, so many fragrances, like, yeah, I've gotten compliments. You know, I've gotten compliments on lots of fragrances, but are they interesting compliments? You know, I don't really think so. Was it Phaedon's Antigua? I think I didn't put this one on the list, but thinking Antigua. Is this the right one? I think it is. I think I told the story of this one was, yeah, Phaedon's Antigua, whatever. I was trying that out before, and someone thought that I was wearing a novelty fragrance that purposely smells like BO to be funny. They're like, oh, are you wearing just like a BO fragrance today to be funny? And I was like, no. And I found out that's because it has like a really strong guava note or guava note in it. And apparently some people just automatically associate that with BO, which is, I learned after that, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, it does. I can definitely see that. So is there anything else? I don't know, dude. Trying to look at my profile for Granica. I mean, there's obviously probably more fragrances that I've worn before, but is there anything interesting, dude? I'm not really sure. Oh yeah, Invictus. Yeah, lots of girls ask you, "Oh, what are you wearing? I want to buy that for my boyfriend." I mean, those kind of compliments, right? So that means they must really like it if they want to buy it for the boyfriend, right? Put a little spray on the PP, basically. Um, I could turn up the music. We got an ASMR. Just chill while I look through this list real quick, dudes. I think that's about it. Yeah, I don't know about about interesting compliments, right? Anyway, dudes, that's me keeping my channel active fragrance-wise. I got some other reviews to do eventually, so the end.